years ago, I managed to get myself out here to upstate New York to visit the Great Escape, just off of the coast of Lake George, of which I managed to ride, of course, the classic roller coaster that used to be closer to my home, being the Crystal Beach Comet, that has been long since rebuilt here and lovingly restored and run for some decades now. Among other rides and classic arrows that this park is littered with, in fact, it has 2 classic arrows. I really enjoyed my time here for the brief time that I was visiting all that time ago. But there's a main reason why I'm back, and that is because the park has just recently announced that their Alpine Bobsled coaster, one of the few left in the world, is closing this season. And unfortunately, on my last trip, I did not get a chance to ride it because it was closed. So we're back here today, literally just to ride this ride, and of course, vlog the park for you guys, because when I visited the last time, we weren't doing that. So for the first time, on first drop, let's do the Great Escape. Park has also opened a booster in the time that I've been here. It looks absolutely massive. It's had to have some slight modifications to it in order to fit it into the park, but it's a welcome addition here at a park that generally has a lot of older attractions. We are a Platinum Seasons Pass holder, which means we get priority access, but unfortunately, our red carpet is closed.
If you are returning to the park today,
mainly because there's just nobody here right now.
Through the main entrance.
It is a very unique park that I've been looking forward to actually vlogging for some time, and it's taken quite a lot of planning to get here. And we're only here for 3 hours today, but I think we've planned it out well. We're gonna go to the back of the park and get the classics in first. In fact, I'm gonna ride them, and then I'll get back to you for the second half of the day where I'll actually go through the experience and what it's all about here at Great Escape. To our good fortune, it does not seem too busy, which means we'll probably be able to get everything done. There's actually 2 credits for me to nab here today. Some excellent water rides, including a raft ride and a log flume. Of course, to allow myself to get hijacked by a coaster on the way to the back, and then this flashback, I got to get it in once, I figured, for the day. Front seat ride. That was one of the smoothest boomerangs out there still. I don't know, maybe it's because of where I was sat, but I definitely found it not as jarring as most boomerangs that I've been on, and I've been on now, what, more than 20 of them? So yeah, it's getting up there. This park is beautiful. If you've never been here before, it really is a perfect storybook park, as you're sure to find out in this vlog. It's rarely covered, so I'm excited to give you a bit of coverage of this place, because yeah, unfortunately enthusiasts don't come here that often, other than for 1 credit generally, and potentially 2 this year. So I'm just getting here to the ride. It is stalled on a lift hill. Here's hoping that they managed to get it open. Yeah, there are some people on the ride now currently stuck on the lift hill. Given my luck this trip, I don't think I'm gonna get on it. We're gonna go over to the line, which is on the other side, and cross our fingers because the maintenance people have arrived. So at least get a good idea of whether or not they expect the ride to be open again later, or if this is it. I hear things happening, so that's a good sign.
Give me your bag!
All right, it's running again. We're gonna get on it, hopefully. Bobsled, Alpine Bobsled, whichever you want to call it, because it's a well-traveled bobsled that's been here for 25 years as per the signage that you saw there. That probably was the best bobsled ride I've actually done. It really takes the speed into those corners to the point where on the third turn, the whole car just kind of like dropped in the middle of the turn. It definitely didn't feel safe, like as far as like the engineering, like the whole time I'm like, this car definitely feels like it could tip over at any point. When you're doing it on a disaster transport back in the day, you wouldn't get that sensation because the coaster itself is inside. But on this one, wow, that was a solid ride, and that might be my favorite bobsled ever. So I'll definitely be getting on it again. Unfortunately, because it's reopened, now the line is about 3 times the size as it was before, but they're only running 6 seats on the train, and everybody wants to go together, so it'll be pretty easy for me to get back up there as a single rider to get on it really quick. So let's get to the back of the park, because I've now accomplished the whole reason I've been here, or I've come here. Credit 437, in case you're curious. All done. Just finished a ride here on the classic Comet coaster here at Great Escape, and it's been quite a while since I've been on it, and I had not been on, say, other major classic well-revered coasters such as Phoenix, which is the first one that comes to mind when riding this, considering the history, the similar history between these two coasters being rebuilt from other locations. The thing about this coaster, it's all about that speed. It carries speed throughout unrelentlessly for a wood coaster. It really, really was a design achievement of its time. It's not as smooth as Phoenix for me. It's also not quite the airtime machine that Phoenix is. This one's more about the rough and ready speed aspect of a wood coaster, whereas Phoenix definitely has a little bit more of the overall package where you're just like, it's a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece too, but it's almost like just slightly under for me compared to Phoenix. I'm gonna go marathon it a couple times because it is a walk-on. So the last time I was here, I only did it twice. I did it just on the second row from the back on the last train that I was on. So I'm gonna try to get to the front, get to the back, and maybe I'll give you another review of it after I've done those journeys towards the end of our day. Second ride on the Comet. I know I said I'd ride it a bunch of times, but I'm gonna take a break because that second ride in the very back, woo, that was crazy. Yeah, this ride is fast. It is one of the fastest old school wood coasters out there. It's hard to believe that this was the original structure for the Cyclone as well. Fascinating history, really an essential for anyone that's an enthusiast. All right, so that's it. We only have 3 other credits to do, one of which is a children's coaster that I've never done before. 2 I have done before. So we'll get over there to the other side of the park, see how they're running this year. They clearly are, because I saw them when I came in. 2 classic arrows coming up and a junior coaster. We'll always also go through the Storybook Village because it actually is worth doing in this park. It is very sort of surreal and magical in a way. Old school, but still worth it. A little bit of a walk through of that. And then that's kind of it for the day. We'll try to get on Alpine again one more time, and then obviously come back here and get a final ride on Comet. Since my trip to the States last week was full of these indoor scramblers, I've discovered that there's one here as well that I most certainly should try. So we're gonna do that first before we go to the other side of the park and get those other coasters in. Also give you an idea what the park looks like here. So much color and a lot of random tunes. It really is a nice park though, it's a vibe. That is a brand new Chaos, I believe. I believe there was a Trabant there before. Yet another mysterious blue dome. Well, the last 2 were gold and white, but there's no question what's inside here. The lineup was full when I got here. Now there's no one here, so good timing. But a quick ride on the Sky Ride behind me. Unfortunately, you can't actually record on the ride itself, which is perfectly understandable, especially with people using cell phones. They definitely would drop on the main pathway of the park. There only needs to be 1 hour left because I mistimed that because it was a fairly long ride. So we have an hour to get onto the other side of the park, do everything that I said, and then loop back very quickly.
No, it's not.
It is also raining now, so I believe that we should be all right. While we're going through Timber Town, we might be able to get a quick credit. We'll see if it's busy. Obviously, we have no business here other than that. Rain is really starting to come down now, but I think it's actually going to clear up in a moment. It may mean that a lot of people will decide to head out of the park. You think, and then you find the busiest coaster in the park here. It is fairly busy still, so we're gonna try it on the way back despite the rain. As we go to the other side of the park, I'm gonna give you a little bit of the Storybook Village as I promised. There actually are houses little houses littered all through this area that kids can actually go inside. They're very cool. We want to check a couple of them out on the way back. I think that's the move. See if I'm going to get the 3 things that I want, 4 things that I want in a half an hour on this side. We're going to try. I was tempted to actually get off of the ride halfway, the sky ride halfway over here. Would have been nice. Not knowing complete history of this park, although it is, you know, the coasters are hand-me-downs. It has somewhat of a German influence throughout, which gets me to think it was a German village at one point. You can kind of get lost in these houses, as I said. You can go in any of them, and they actually have like interiors. It's kind of wild. And it keeps going. There is the booster that I want to get on, however, just over there. So I'm gonna roll through town here. You must be 54. Well, it's just a tiny little, I thought there was more to it. It's very cool though. Ghost Town is obviously where we want to go. Just like that, you're confronted with the condors. Look at that, eh? And the booster. And Canyon Blaster. This is an excellent western town. Technically a ghost town, but it's very well realized. Its own little self-contained area. There is a coaster hidden in the background that's been long closed and I haven't been on. It's an indoor wild mouse. We have more than a few things to get on here, including through the corral. Two big attractions. Steven Demon will be the first. Outlaw will be second.
looking for the queue line, welcome to the Adirondack Outlaw. Just a friendly reminder that all riders must be at least 15 inches tall to ride. All loose vehicles have to be left on the station or with another rider. The Greatescape is not responsible for any items that are lost, stolen, or damaged while riding. Enjoy your ride at the Adirondack Outlaw. Yeehaw!
Just finished a run on Adirondack Outlaw behind me. That was quite intense. Excellent. It was a bit of a wait, but it was so worth it. Because you do get 2 cycles, one forward, one back, so they actually stop you at the top, unload the bottom arm, and then give you another cycle. And intense, really, like lots of flips. There was one on the forward cycle where there was like this upside down push forward that just carried all the way down to the bottom loading area as we flipped over. It was fantastic. That is one of the best flat rides in a theme park / amusement park anywhere. I know it's a booster and they're around all over the place, but that is an excellent addition to this park. Unfortunately, I'm really kind of blown away by it. The bobsled is closed because of the rain, which is understandable. I got my ride on it. I'm happy. Let's do some Canyon Blaster and we'll see if we can manage to get to the other side of the park in time. Okay, Canyon Blaster done, 10 minutes to go. A kid just arrived. I had a Zen run on there. Canyon Blaster, that was ridiculous. They certainly gave me guilt for having the Zen ride there because a kid showed up in the station after the whole train was secured and locked. And he's like, can I go? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I need to go because if I don't get that ride through, then I'm not gonna get over to the other side of the park in time. It is a rickety ride, that ride is. Yeah, probably one of the roughest aeroed mine trains I've ever been on. And it's such a peculiar design too. We're in the other side of the Story Village now, as we hustle our way over to the other side of the park. It doesn't take that long to get there, just about 5 minutes. Unfortunately, I did not find, however, the cool Alice in Wonderland area on my journeys here. Very unusual. To it. We found it. I don't have time. We'll do a quick look. Alright, just wanted to give you a general idea, because unfortunately, yes, as that credit teases me in the background, that I'm not gonna get today. I've only been on like 3 of these rides recently. Ooh, Cheshire Cat. Unfortunately, not giving you a full idea what this is about, but it's very cool. It's really all just about that house. Let's not kid ourselves. Of course, that evil queen. That's Alice in Wonderland. And that's the whole park that we managed to fit in less than 3 hours. There's no one here. There's 2 minutes to go. If I don't run, they'll close the ride on me. Time for a Zen ride on Comet. Didn't make it in time, and it is 2 minutes before park close, so yeah, it's starting to rain. A little disappointed by that. At least the security guy that closed the line off did ask the attendants if they were going to send at least one more train out.
We must say goodnight. We would like to thank you for spending the day with us. Don't forget to apply today's newsletter.
Before we go, I'll give you just a tiny bit of this ride that will no longer be here next year. In fact, this area, it looks like it might be under development for something new next season. Stay tuned. Unfortunately, all the Six Flags announcements have essentially happened already, so I'm not sure if this park is essentially due for a new attraction next year. I would be surprised, given that they already have a Larson Loop and the booster that is open recently, and this park does not open rides frequently. And how could it be a first drop vlog without me sweating profusely at the end of it? Unfortunately, I didn't get that water ride in, but there's something to be said about Great Escape. I was impressed by this park the last time that I had visited 6 years ago. I still am. There's actually a lot to do here. Plenty of space, cool vibe. The way that the water park is situated basically in the park itself, it has a very strange feel, unlike any park that I know out there. Again, I got to make the Waldemere comparison. I think that's the only thing that's close to what this park is about. But yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to happen, i.e. with this Alpine coaster or this bobsleigh moving on, whether or not they're going to use this space for something else. There's tons of space around this park for improvement and expansion, but it is a family-focused park, so I don't really anticipate them doing anything outside of that kind of focus in the near future. At the end of the day, the park has put a smile on my face. It all started with Blizzard, the scrambler inside. There was a lot of force on that one. It was a little older. I feel like that was the fastest scrambler and the best running one that I have done in the past 3 weeks, and I've done 4. But yeah, it's just cool vibe. The Magical Mystery Tour soundtrack that played during the ride, and there wasn't really any light effects other than they turned the lights out and had some colored lights. So it definitely would be the best if they had, say, snow effects in there, etc. I'm now heartbroken because I could have done Alice in Wonderland after the roller coaster, but that'll be a tip for you guys in case you do actually come here. As you can see, the park clears out real fast. Most of the people in this area are here to camp and to take advantage of the resort that is essentially attached to this place, and there are other ones in the area.
But we'll have to do it all again another day. The park is closed. Please make your way to the main park exit. Thank you again.
I am going to another Six Flags park to finally, despite the weather, rain or shine, see their fantastic and globally renowned fireworks display. The closing night tonight. I feel a lot of enthusiasts may disagree, but I can only go by the evidence that I've had from this season and the various park chains that I've experienced. Six Flags has really done a remarkable job this year, just from a micro standpoint and focusing on guest experience. And it's really kind of set a new bar for the company that we're not really accustomed to. In other words, the operations were great. All right, maybe I shouldn't have gone on that chairlift, and then I would have been leaving here completely satisfied, other than the fact that I did take that risk with the Alpine or the bobsleigh coaster and didn't get onto it a second time. That's fine. It was a little bit dangerous from what I felt, and in the rain, it just wasn't meant to be. Gotta wrap it up. So yes, amazing time. Had a great little 3 hours. Definitely worth a stop if you're going to Six Flags New England or anything around the area south of here, or just sort of a bit east. It's 100% worth it. You could definitely do both parks in a day if you planned it right. It's late in the season, so this will probably be more of a consideration for next year. Hopefully this park does get something in the new year. I highly doubt it, but I do think that this park has something planned for, say, 2 years from now in the spot where the Alpine coaster or the bobsleigh coaster is now. All right, guys, getting pelted by rain. Probably time to wrap it up. Thanks for dropping in. We'll see you soon.